how they're forested or whatever, harvested, I guess is the word. And I was like, never would have thought we would have went this way, but
you get what you get.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. But
Awesome.
Andrea, I'm happy to meet you. I appreciate you making the time for us today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is my first
No way.
way. So I'm a little nervous. I don't really know what's gonna come, but I'm excited.
Awesome.
I did a little bit of studying, but like I said,
Uh-oh.
this weekend I was occupied, so I didn't dive too deep down the Insta path to check out what everything was about.
That's fair. Awesome. Yeah. Right on. Well, with that kind of being said, I kind of typically start it off. Even if you did the smallest amount of research possible, you'd still understand this is the first question, so it shouldn't be too bad. But basically, I like take us through kind of your transition, leaving like high school, that time frame to where we are now, and then we can kind of go through everything full circle.
Circle back.
Yeah, and talk about it.
So high school, I always anticipated or saw myself wanting to leave Sudbury, but I played basketball here, and I just became super close with the coach here at Laurentian University, and he kind of recruited me, made me feel good about my skill set and how I could benefit the team. So I decided, hey, it's a couple extra years at home with the fam and playing the sport I love. I didn't really hear anything else from other schools, so I was just like, this is a great opportunity to stay home and play the sport I love and mess around a little bit at home.
Why'd you want to leave?
I think I just wanted to leave to just experience something outside of Sudbury. I feel like there's such a stereotype about Sudbury when you live here or grow up here that it's so small, like there's nothing to do here, there's blah blah blah, like I don't know. I know I was in that mindset where I was like, oh, it's so boring, I know everyone, I don't want to deal with anyone, I want to like fresh start, go somewhere new, learn a new place, try new things. So that was my thing, but then the whole basketball piece tied in, and that was a big part of my life back then, so it just kind of happened. And I was more than happy to stay here, don't get me wrong, but there was always that little itch that I feel like I needed to get away. But then university happened, played a lot of basketball, got to travel because of that too.
Oh, nice.
Like Halifax, Montreal. So I still got a little taste of getting out of Sudbury. And then after Sudbury, I graduated university here, played another year of basketball in college, Durham College. I knew the coach there, and I said, hey, let's mess around for 1 year longer, I guess, before like real life sets in. So we played another year, last year of eligibility. Then COVID hit, actually.
No.
Then COVID hit. So moved home, lived at home, all of that, even though I just got out of Sudbury. What happened after that? I don't know. Moved home. I lived in Muskoka for actually 3 years while I completed my diploma in accounting online. I was a server bartender there.
We're in the Muskokas. There's a
bunch of restaurants, kind of Port Carling.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
There's a local restaurant just like down the street called Portside Fusion.
Yeah.
So I worked there with some of my besties and studied and...
Port Fusion.
Yeah,
nice.
It was so good.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stories there.
What's one you could share?
Oh God, I don't know if I have any.
None that you could share?
Well, yeah.
How about this? Just share it and we could talk about it after. We could edit it out if worst comes to worst.
A crazy Portside Fusion story. Well, I had a crazy boss. Like my boss was crazy. So like typical server lifestyle. We closed at 10 o'clock, finish our duties around 11, and then we would all just go to someone's cottage and hang out by a fire and drink our faces off and do what we had to do. There was another couple restaurants like Turtle Jack's and the Coop that are all like in Tulo's, I think it's called. Tacos? Is it Tulo's? Anyway.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So anyways, we'd always meet up after, and we'd all do what we had to do or hang out and whatever. And then one night we all go to our friend's house, and my boss, it was like 3 a.m. at this point, 4 a.m, and he's calling all of us. He's like, you need to work tomorrow, and was just like giving us all sorts of crap. And we're like, I was like, I don't care. I'll be
Yeah.
on time. You don't need to
Yeah.
worry about me. Like, I'm off the clock right now. But my one friend, she was like new, like younger girl, and she's like,
No.
no. She started crying, and he's like, he called the cops on us. Like, he was crazy. But that's what happens when alcohol and craziness is.
Guy's nuts.
Yeah.
Jeez, was he like an older boss or like not? Like he wasn't 60.
No, he wasn't 60. So he was in his like mid 30s or something, and he would just hang out at the restaurant all day. And just he would just sit there and drink all day, and then like come we were done. He's like, "Oh, my friends are done work," even though we're not your friends.
Yeah. We're paid to be here.
Yeah, I'm making money right now. Stop bugging me. I'm trying to serve our customers. So that was one of the crazy stories.
Yeah.
Not too. He was just crazy. Like so many stories like around that sort of thing.
Interesting. Why?
Character development stories.
Yeah, that's a safe way to put it. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Did you why'd you end up moving there during that time? Like into the Muskokas? That was what? That was after.
Yeah,
was
so
roughly when COVID
2020,
was there?
and then my mom was actually seeing someone who lived there.
Sure.
So I went to go visit a lot, and I was like, this is quite beautiful out here. So I first started at the JW Marriott, served there, and then this little local restaurant came about, and I was like, this is seems really nice. So I made the switch over there, and I just stayed there ever since.
From what you've kind of gathered, I'm curious, because I'd say serving is one of, but probably the best, like top 3, I'd say businesses, or not businesses, sorry, but jobs you could do as a student.
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree?
Totally.
Yeah.
It was my favorite job, and I bank, I think, a lot of my, or like, relate to my communication skills because of serving.
Yeah.
But as a student, working in the summer, I worked all the time, but like, it's quick money. For like a minimal, like a 4-hour shift, you can make $300-400. You know what I mean? So it's, if you wanted to only work 2 or 3 shifts and make that kind of money, it's at least a little bit more self-sufficient than minimum wage.
Right.
And you meet some crazy people along the way too.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think the restaurant that we worked at, like all of those NHL players, like Mitch Marner has a cottage there, like he came to the restaurant once. Tyler Seguin, thinking his girlfriend came once. It was like cool to see those like higher, or like even just people who were like wealthy people or people from all walks of life. To get to know so many people is just like, and when you get to yap with them a little bit and they ask you questions, you ask them questions. It's nice. Like I met so many different types of people serving.
Oh, amazing. I'd say too, like, what was it? The one thing, like, I wish I never served, ever. I did,
You should try it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just even now?
Even now.
I was like a 28-year-old, just...
Even now,
just
I
go
would
send it.
still, honestly, like...
oh, that'd be wild.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's just like 2 or 3 shifts a week. It's different too, because it's not a sit down and type at your computer job. You're like standing up, you're active, you're still like engaging your brain, like memorizing their orders or punching it in or like it's time management too, being able to like tackle everyone's tables. I loved it. Anyways, long story short.
Did you ever drop anything?
I must have. My last day working at the Marriott, I spilled a whole tray of Caesars over the entire table. And they were all like these girls on their like bachelorette party, and they were all wearing like white and nice stuff, and I was like, I'm sorry. It's my last day, so I was kind of like, screw this place.
Like, la, get me out of here.
You can't fire me because I'm already gone.
Yeah, see ya. Oh, man.
So that was pretty bad. I've never dropped like food or anything. My first job serving actually was at Shula's Joe's.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I was a hostess to start it off, and then I bumped up to serving. But I was setting up a table, and whoever set the table before put the plates like on the middle of like, you know what I'm trying to say? So if there's 2 tables, there's plates like right on the crack. So I was trying to split them up. It was like my second day too. I was like 18 years old, and they all dropped. I was like, I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
But character building.
Yeah.
I didn't cry.
So, Man, that reminds me. I didn't serve in that capacity, but I was like a runner at the Caruso Club. Like I was in like grade 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And like like the big traders like, hey, bring out coffee, bring out whatever. And it's like these old Italian ladies just like coffee decaf, go. And I'm like,
Okay,
yeah, like,
I
was gonna cry too. So I'm like, Jesus. So I remember I was trying to have fun, right? Because we're making this nonsense fun. So I remember it was a prom for the year above me, like some random school, and I remember my buddy and I was like, ooh, I remember watching somewhere. I was like, oh, like, there's low pour and there's high pour, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it gets bad.
Yeah.
So the gentleman had like a white, like all white suit like thing, but had like a vest on. I guess he had his jacket off, whatever. And I remember like I was like, low pour or high pour? And he's like, low pour. And I was like, nah, you want a high pour. And he's like, no, please, just a low pour. Just more coffee, man. So I'm just like, no, man, like I learned this thing I could do. I got to show you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing it. Not thinking the splashing is just
getting
everywhere. And I was like, there you go. And he goes, what am I supposed to do about this?
His shirt.
And I was like, 1 second. And then I just walked off. And then I think I went in like the bathroom and I called somebody, or I went up to my supervisor like, hey, so listen, table 12 probably couldn't be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But I was like, table 12 isn't, they're not too happy with us. And they're like, no. I'm like, no, we should give them like extra hors d'oeuvres or something.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, okay, why would you do? And I was like, just something spilled. She's like, oh, okay, I take care of it. And I was like, okay, thank goodness. Thanks, Anna. Shout out to her. And,
yeah.
She still works there too. She's a sweet lady. Every time she's like, oh, how's your brother? I'm like, ask him.
Oh.
Like, oh, it's good.
Shout out Anna.
Yeah.
Surfing definitely is one of the most, especially when you're young, I find. It could probably be a little bit more stressful than the standard part-time job, like dealing with some of those angry customers or someone who isn't afraid to jab it in you and twist it a little. But everything always works out. No one's going to remember that situation for the rest of their lives.
It'll live rent-free in my head.
Yeah, exactly. It'll affect me for the rest of my life, but not them. So
it's like character building.
Always be kind to everybody, right?
So, was it more the focus on like wanting to play basketball in the beginning, or was it more just like what do you want to like learn or see yourself doing?
Sorry. My big thing going into university was definitely basketball.
Yeah.
Like I remember in high school, like I was a total like stay at home square. I didn't do anything. I didn't go to parties. I think I went to like 2 or 3 high school parties in my life. And then my whole focus was like, I can't go to a party because that'll ruin my chances of making university basketball. So the end of the day, like that was my main mindset. I started off in kinesiology. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just was like, I'll apply to these 3 programs and pick. Started off in kin, and then after first year I switched into SPAD, so like business, and then it worked out for the best. But it was definitely basketball.
Yeah.
I love it. I miss it so much, even to this day.
Have you ever, I was wondering too, I was going to ask later on, but I'm curious now, did you, like, looking to see how famous, like, the WNBA and everything is getting, would you ever, like, did you, I guess, wish, like, I don't know what your skill level was, but was, like, you could have pushed it, had it be what it is now? You think that would have been a thing? I know it wasn't quite what it is now.
No, I don't think so. Not for me personally anyways. Like, I knew my career would end eventually. I would have, without COVID, I would have tried to play in, like, Europe or something for a couple of years just to say I could have. Or I did it. But the WNBA was never...
Yeah, it wasn't what it was.
I think also, like, a mindset, too. Like, back then, like, it was always, like, oh, women's sports.
Yeah.
It's, like, mid versus now it's, like, grown into this whole other thing, which is very exciting. We actually... Not to talk about shop talk right now, but the Sudbury Cyclones, brand new soccer team, and this year we got promoted, and our women's team is also being promoted into like the bottom. I don't know if you're familiar with how soccer works, but there's like 3 tiers in the pyramid.
Yes. Our
main team got promoted to the 2nd tier.
Yeah.
So our bottom teams, which is like the men and women's, like U21 or whatever, got bumped up. So they're in the main league now.
Whoa.
But I'm excited to see how the women's team will do in terms of like how popular the women's sports are just like rising like across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Like all sports, basketball, soccer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hockey, they have the PWC, whatever.
PWH.
Cut this out.
Yeah.
Cut this part out.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know
like
what I'm talking
professional women's hockey league.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of consonants in there. No vowels, nothing. So it's stressing.
Yeah.
I'm like, which letters? Yeah, okay. I'm wondering though, because would you guys consider adopting like a women's version of like what the Sudbury 5 is? Is there like a bigger picture to that, or is it just like whatever team's already?
Well, whatever teams like some of these teams have been around for so long. I would love to see one, because I don't really know if there's even a league in Canada for women's basketball. Like at post-secondary, the majority of the leagues are like in Europe and Australia and stuff like that, versus the WNBA. I don't even know what their like G League is.
Is there? He was just like straight from university.
I wonder.
Like NCAA there. Weird.
Good question.
Yeah,
Which you
I'm
don't
not
know,
sure.
but it's growing, so you never
Yeah.
know. But it'd be nice to see some woman-led like basketball league for post-secondary. You know.
What do you attribute the like rise of it to? You think?
Well, Serena Williams was like huge.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, but definitely just like I think the way Caitlin Clark was playing, she was like almost like a female like Steph almost.
Yeah.
With the confidence that she was playing and her stats.
Yeah.
Like it was just so easy, especially to just follow that, like ride that bandwagon because of how good she was doing.
Oh, by the way, I was gonna say if you're cold, I forgot I do have a space heater for you too.
Oh
I
no,
didn't
that's
put on,
okay.
so let me
I
know.
have
Cut me off at any
allergies.
point,
Sorry,
let me know.
I'm like
Let me
fidgeting
know.
all over the place. I have allergies and my skin is so sensitive. Like all day, my like side of my body's been like
And the cold weather's not helping.
acting up. Probably not.
No, the same way.
We're just dealing.
Yeah, just one day at a time, right?
Exactly.
But I always found too, because you mentioned Caitlin Clark, but off this, my kind of thing that I've noticed a lot with sports and what kind of forces a team to rise, which is why I think the NBA is like, from what I recall, their ratings have like dropped pretty huge, like TV ratings and stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically, I kind of, whereas like hockey not so much and football not so much, because I'm pretty convinced that like you need, in order to sell sports and sports teams and competition, you need stars. I think no matter what it is across all platforms. And I think the NBA is like, they had the peak of their stars, and now I think they're
With
in
like
like
LeBron and stuff. And
yeah, now they're trying to like almost like we've seen what they've done, and now it's like they're still playing. Whereas I think there's that room for like Kate, who's going to emerge.
Who's
next.
the next big person? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Caitlin Clark, I think, is that
The starting,
right
the
now.
start of that wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Basketball's definitely. Well, basketball is just different than I find hockey. Where like you see McDavid and he like goes by everyone, but like, and scores a goal. We'll say versus and like a goal. Like there's not too many games where there's like more than like 5 or 10 goals versus basketball. Like these games are going to like 140 points a game. So like I think that's a huge thing actually, is like that one key person who can contribute like 40 points to that 140 point win, and how like fancy they are at doing it.
Yeah. Did you it was funny you mention that. When it comes to what I'm always wondering what I know of a handful of different people who've gone through this bad program. What is it in a nutshell? Like if you can define it, somebody's like, oh, Andrea, I want to do that. What is it?
It's, you graduate with a Bachelor of Commerce. I mean, there is that stigma like around SPAD, and they're so culty. But it's I loved it. I met my best friends in that crazy program, and it's just like, it's just business, but like everything is twisted to business, but in the sports industry.
Oh, like how
so like versus marketing, and you put your marketing plan together for a regular business, it's like talking about how you're gonna put the marketing plan together for the start of a season or season ticket sales and stuff like that. So being like sports fans, like sometimes that might be a little bit easier to like understand those concepts with. Another cool thing about the SPAD program was that in 4th year, there's like the capstone project where like my year we got to go to Nashville and
sick.
It was so much
Yeah,
fun. Like I
love
just turned 21, so I was like,
it.
woohoo!
Oh, best time ever. Yeah.
Best time ever. So the beginning of the semester, we meet with the major sports teams in Nashville. They coordinate all that stuff, like our profs.
Nice. Yeah.
But we have a meeting. We stay in contact with them. They kind of present us like a challenge that they're facing.
Right.
So then it's on us to do the research, how to put these solutions together, and then we go to Nashville and we all got to present to these major sports organizations on like our findings and why we think these solutions would work and blah blah blah. So that was really cool. And then at the end of the trip, after everyone's done their presentations, it's a nice little celebration.
Yeah, of course.
I think this year they went to like Germany and presented to Adidas. It was super cool. So
That's...
I think that's a huge selling point too, is like that travel piece.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's the difference, I think, between
it's intimidating.
business versus, like, because you Bachelor of Commerce versus SPAD.
Yeah, just like general business versus
Yeah.
how it applies to. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Huh. And I find that hands-on learning. So I did both university and college.
True. Yes.
I did my sports business management certificate at Durham College after university.
Is that like a 1-year thing?
It was 1-year program. I was like, perfect. Get to ball out. Get to
of course
graduate with something.
Yeah, let's go.
Like, what can go wrong? And I loved college way more than university.
Yeah, why?
Just like it's more the way that the things were just more hands-on. Like you have to go out and do this versus like memorize all this stuff for a midterm. It's like I learn better, I guess, through like actually doing things versus sitting down and like trying to pay attention to a lecture. I'm just like snooze fest to get me out of here. I think there's a stigma in high school too. I say this to everyone. But like they're always like pushing the university courses, so you have more options. But I'm like,
it's like smart kids go here.
Yeah, they make you think that you're stupid if you don't go to if you don't take the university course. I'm like, no, it's not true.
I don't care about chemistry.
Exactly, like, and I just think, I don't know, the way that they stigmatize it, I find starts at a very early onset in high school, and I don't like that because I think like at a way better time, not better time, but like. The way that the courses stuck with me in college was like way more than what I did in university.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In what, do you have an example of like one of your favorite courses that you had? It could be at both.
God, at both? It was just so
I know it was like basketball
ago.
primary focus, but like what was college specifically? Or like even just one that stands out?
One that stands out?
Yeah, that you're like,
I think that's too far back.
Yeah.
I think that's too far back.
What
or like a key lesson or something. I just remember there was one, I don't know. University is all memorizing, I find. I remember like strutting on the treadmill for this one course and I was just flipping page after page, like just trying to memorize everything. I was like, I'm going to do it while I'm walking, but.
Whoa. So.
I forgot the course. You know what I mean? Like that's how much I find like the real life experiences. Like I could talk about when I was at college, they were like, you need to volunteer 40 hours with a sports organization. You need, like, we did an internship. We had for the first semester, like, we had to host a conference. So doing, like, that type of work and, like, actually learning and working together. Yeah. Versus, like, I guess that was a course. One was called, like, event management. And, like, as a class, we had to host this sports admin conference. Whoa. So find the speakers, get sponsors, tickets.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that type of course, like...
Great experience.
Yeah, the experience from that, I could relate to that more than, like, probably almost any other course. Yeah. Like a marketing course, marketing 1, or accounting. Ugh.
That's funny. We had, and I know this because everybody I know that's gone to, I went to Algonquin College for 4 years, and architectural technology. Oh my god! Yeah, cool. Thanks. Yeah. So I thought so too. There's a couple things I'd change, but different time. What we had, everybody I know that's gone to Algonquin has taken. We all had to take like there's general elective courses and like BS courses that you need to take, right? We had one called Achieving Success in the 21st Century, and it was as bad and numbing as you think. And it was just like debate after debate after debate, and it was put on like I think it was no, we had it at like first thing in the morning on a Friday, and it was the only class.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were like, and it
Yeah.
was 3 hours, and we're like, oh, this is gonna be great. So I just remember like the 40 of us, and we had to do, there was like a bunch of debates. You'd have to do presentations, you have to do final stuff, and I remember just picking the same topic for every single project and debating it with my friend, and then taking that same debate and then also doing it in my communications 1 and 2 classes.
Yeah.
Because they're, yeah, same thing. Whereas like the frustrating part was like they're all the same. We're like, hey, why do I have 9 different like how to write an essay courses?
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, what am I spending my money on here?
Exactly.
You know? It
Like
was a
some
weird
of
one.
the stuff, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So, moving a bit forward, once you finished like your school and your studying and stuff like that, did you like? Because I know you right now. Is what do you do at the 5 exactly? Tickets.
Yeah, so I manage ticket sales
Yes.
right now with SWSC. So there's
Yes.
the 4 sports teams,
Okay.
like the Wolves, 5 Cyclones, and Sudbury Spartans. Which is
Oh,
football.
sick! All 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Did you how did that kind of come to fruition?
So post COVID, my dream was to still get out of Sudbury. So after my whole serving stint, I was like, I still like.
Yeah.
Let me go to Toronto or something. Like, the Sudbury girl's dream is like, let's just go to the big city. So I'm like, my sister was moving there anyways because she was doing
Amazing.
her master's
Yeah.
at U of T. So we're like, let's just move in together.
Sick.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You'll study. We'll have so much fun.
Easy.
Yeah. Foolproof, right? Not.
It's like,
So-
yeah, what could go wrong?
The big dream was because I was in like SPAD, like I love sports, I love staying in touch
Yeah.
with it. The big dream was like MLSE, work for the Raps or the Leafs or
Sick. Yeah.
Argos. They have TFC too. It's like very similar to what we're doing here in Sudbury. So like that was it. It was harder than anticipated post COVID to like, first of all, get an interview. Second of all,
Really.
land your interview. So it was like, I was working remotely for just like a little company. It was
Yeah.
just nothing too serious. Just trying to pay some of the bills. And then got into real sports because of my restaurant background.
Yeah.
Like they have the Real Sports bar like right across from the Scotiabank Arena.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with all the
okay.
TVs
Yeah, I know
in there
exactly
and
what
stuff
you're
like that.
talking
So I
about.
worked there for a couple months.
Epic.
It was super cool. I was a supervisor or whatever, so I was like, okay, perfect. I'm going to start here. I'm in, at least, for a while, and then hopefully try
Yeah.
to wiggle my way through the organization and get into some sort of like business ops type
Yeah.
of position. I think that was summer. I forget when. But we went back into lockdown like that January.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so I got laid off. And I was like, how am I supposed to pay for the bills right
Yeah,
now?
what
like,
are we doing?
I need to. So I moved home. Carly finished her degree or her master's or whatever.
Nice.
And then I started working for my parents who own a construction company in the marketing and business development side of things.
Nice.
A year and a half or like a year go by, and then my dad poached me. He's like, you need to come work full time, like
Dibs, man.
help me out with tickets, like we have
Yeah.
a role, blah 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 blah. And that's how I kind of got to where I am
Amazing.
now. So yeah, I started off as season ticket. I just managed season tickets for all the sports
Yeah.
teams. And then we all kind of realized that like there's way more to see the ticket side of things than just season tickets. So they just bumped me up, and now I'm managing all
Sick.
ticket sales. Yeah,
Right on.
it's a lot of fun. I love
Yeah,
it.
incredible.
It's a very rewarding job. I work with a good team. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you? How long were you doing the marketing and stuff for the construction company?
About a year
Yeah.
and a half.
How is that different? That industry to like the sports industry, given what you've known and what you've studied, to also now having done it in real life for a construction company.
Yeah, a lot of it is similar. Like you need like your marketing plans and like
Yeah.
what you want to do in the community and stuff like that. The biggest difference, like all that, like the framework is always the same.
Yeah.
But the difference between like a sport event versus like a construction project is that like a construction project can take like a year
Right.
to like come to full, like from start to end, like a full year of work. Where like the industry that we work in, it is still the same amount of work and effort and still fast paced, but it's like every weekend is like our project. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we got all week to sell out potentially three games in one weekend.
Insane.
So that's like, the framework is all the same. Yeah. And you get into your routine and stuff like that, but like it's different in that sense.
What's the standard framework you say that you can like apply across like anything? Even if you were just make the framework from like three things, be like this in terms of importance, and then you go, I can now take this package and relate it to anything, and you'll be kind of steered in the right direction.
Oh, that's a good question.
You can take a second to think about it.
Yeah, like a good sort of framework for that. Like in terms of like marketing. Yep. God, I don't even know. I don't even like. I work with the marketing department, so like I just manage, like sales now. So one huge thing I guess is like relationships, and like relationship management would be like a big thing, because if like I have some people that are like my go-tos who like if there's a spare suite I could just message last minute and be like, hey, this is available, like cool. Type of thing. But then also like when you're at the games, you treat them with like, buy them around or whatever, like make them feel nice, and like that's how that type of like, I don't know, having good relationships with people in the community is like super super huge.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That is a good answer. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you think so.
It's better than what's the opposing side, right? It would just be like, what? It's better than like, oh, make sure you have a billboard that's this size every 500 kilometers. It's like, no. Yeah. But like the people relationships is huge.
Relationships is huge. Like, so for ticket sales, and like even when you're trying to sell your, like Tesk was selling services, because it was fully like we build stuff. Like, so we don't have a product to sell. We have to like have a relationship with those customers so we could sell you on our services, and it's hard to like put that in front of your face. Like that client needs to trust us for like what we can do for them, right? Type of thing.
It's like, how do you build that?
Wow, how do you build that? A lot of phone calls. A lot of cups of coffee, I guess.
A lot of unanswered calls, emails.
A lot of or even just like random little things. Like a little card, a little handwritten Christmas card goes a long way. You know what I mean?
No kidding. Huh. Interesting. It's funny. the more and more it's funny you mentioned that, because I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and this guy was talking about what he does at the end of every year. Anybody he's like been on a show with, or anybody he's like been or done anything with, or like people who've helped out his kids or his marriage, whatever it might be, he writes them written letters at the end of the year and just mails them out, and he's like, dude, it's been paid back tenfold. I make it sound like he was talking to me, but like I was listening. It was the three of us. And then so he was like, oh, I do that, and I just go, so to hear you say it, I'm like, oh, handwritten sentiments, underrated.
They are underrated, like especially in a world that's like so digital and like technology based. Like you could send to someone a text, happy birthday, but like if you send them a card and just say happy birthday, even if it's just a card and not even like a gift, they're like, wow, like that.
It's like, oh,
that's touching.
Thank you.
You thought of me extra. You know what I mean?
Birthday.
Like, so.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Nice. Did you kind of moving forward into now that you're now like working with the Five and tickets and working with, what is it,
SWSE.
SE.
Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment.
Okay. So I was gonna go there. I was like, no, this SW. Yeah. So what role does the community play in terms of developing the sports team and like keeping them there in the city? Like, I get it's a business, right? Mm-hmm. But like, what role does that play? Where's like the value? Because there has to be a value exchange, right? Or the community to feel or believe that there's a value exchange. What does that look like?
Well, like we always say, like the Sudbury Wolves, for example, or Sudbury Five, it's not SWSE's team. Right. It's the community's team. Like there's been, like without the community, like we have nothing. Mm-hmm. So like we try to make like we in ticket sales anyways, my philosophy is like, we're not selling tickets to make money. Like, we're selling tickets because we want to bring you into our home at the Sudbury Arena and like give you the best experience possible. Mm. Like, whether it's like from the parking to getting into the arena to our free little giveaways, to eating a hot dog or whatever, some nice salty popcorn to crisp cold beer. Like we like that's the experience we want to provide to our community, or like the value that we want to give back to our community. Is like you're paying this price for a ticket and food and beverage and stuff, but it's like 10 out of 10 level experience and when you're there, if that makes any sense. Does that
it does for sure
relate to the question?
No, of course
And like just like without providing that fun experience, I don't think we'd have, like, obviously a winning team is going to,
it's huge,
it's huge, and going to drive community together, but like without the community and giving them like that, like we just want to bring everyone together, watch a sporting event but have a good time at the same time, despite the outcome on the court or the ice.
I love seeing people there who I don't see every day, who have done the show or like whatever, and I'm like, yo, hey, it's good to see you.
It's such a small world, so it's like,
it's awesome.
And it's a fun, like, it's so cool. That's what I was saying earlier, like, it's rewarding, like when there's a full arena and it's like you just bring all these people together, they're all cheering for the Wolves to score a goal or whatever. It's like, that's pretty cool. It's intangible, you know what I mean? Like, you can't put a price on that. So
do you have like a say or creative input in theme nights, theme games?
We work directly, us in the marketing department work like hand in hand, so we'll come up with some that or like there's been some that we've been doing like annually now, but we're always trying to come up with new things.
What's your favorite one?
Any ideas? You got any input?
Wasn't expecting that. I'll put a pin in that one for sure.
Yeah.
If you get a random message from me at a random time, just like ignore it and then read it like a day later and be like, this is a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Ignore the time it was sent, but just like read it and you'll be
perfect.
Yeah, you'll be
well,
right
we love feedback all from. There's no such thing as bad feedback.
What's your favorite theme night you guys have done so far?
Favorite theme night? Yeah. I love
theme
country night.
Yeah.
Just because I love country music. We've done Crocs night with the 75 2 years in a row. That's always been a hit.
It was Country Friday.
It was Country Friday, and I missed it this weekend, but I heard it was a great time.
Yeah, it was fun.
So that's all that matters.
Yeah, I liked it.
We introduced our partnership with Project X Wrestling.
Yeah, which is sick.
So that's been crazy lately. Other themes. I love our Indigenous night. We like to tie in like directly with the community as well. Like,
it's huge.
It's fun to work with them and celebrate them and recognize all of, like, especially because the majority of the communities around us are all Indigenous. I'm trying to think of other fun ones. I don't know. But we do like I think we're gonna send out like surveys pretty soon and like to see like what fans want to see back.
That'd be cool.
So
interesting. Okay. So my favorite part about these games is and I don't think the players can hear me, but it sounds like the players can hear me. I like shouting. Right? Like, I love it. I'm not gonna like yell, like I don't yell profanity, I don't yell anything. But so I used to my friends and I, because a good friend of mine, I love, best guy I know, like, love him to death, Michael. When he was first year on the team, we would go to like every single game and like book the tickets like 5 rows behind their bench. A, to embarrass him, and B, to like, you know, cheer and support, right? Because, you know, winning's great. Yeah, we all love it. And so I figured out that year, towards the end of the year, the perfect time where there's like, because there's everything going on at all the time. There's no like there's giveaways, there's like win this, there's 50-50, there's so many, like there's make some noise, there's so many things going on, right? But I found the one moment that like there's nothing in the arena. You can hear a pin drop, and it's when a referee blows the whistle on a penalty, like usually on a holding or like not a shot block or anything or whatever. Yeah. But I'm like there, and then there's like he'll blow the whistle, and then there's a silence, and then he'll like and then he'll like, or whatever the order is, and then there's like a 2-second delay, and then there's like some music or something goes on. So there's like 5 seconds where I'm like, as soon as the whistle blows, I'm like, oh, now's my moment.
This is your time to shine.
I figured it out.
What do you typically like? I usually just screaming, or
I usually just yell like let them play, ref.
Oh yeah. Give the
especially if
refs
it's
a little
against us.
job.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Or I'll just yell lens crafters. Just fun.
I
Yeah,
do.
it has to
I
be
do
quick.
know that point. I love. I love screaming at the refs
Yeah.
too a little bit.
Do you have any go-to things you say or no?
For the Wolves game, I love to scream, "Hit him!" I'm mostly talking at our players going towards the other team. Wake up, ref!
Yeah.
That's another good
I love
one.
it. They're quick.
Yeah.
It's quick. Yeah, it can't be
It can't
like
be
this
something long.
drawn out thing.
We're basketball. I'll typically yell the same things.
So I was just about to say, I'm like, I don't think you could yell the same. You're like, no.
Well, I don't care.
Hit him!
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe not
that's
actually,
funny.
because you can get
Yeah.
fined, but...
they can?
Yeah, there's well,
like-
I don't know the certain rules on that, but I don't see fist fights in basketball too often.
No.
So I could only imagine there's a hefty
It's gotta be hefty.
penalty, charge, or fine
Yeah.
that the league would send over our way.
Yeah. Would it go to the team? Like, would it go to the player or like the...
That's a good question.
How does
I'm
that
not
work?
too familiar. I think it would come to the team, and the coach would probably decide on
Yeah.
the proper way to go about that.
Interesting.
That's a good question.
Do you
I'll
have
find out.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm curious because I would hate like you guys to eat a portion of that, or I wonder if like if it's not paid by a certain amount, it goes to like it gets taxed on the organization. But I imagine
Yeah.
they just fire the guy.
That could be it too. If
that'd be
it
a
was
weird
something,
one.
it was something drastic like that.
Yeah.
We don't want that type of
Yeah,
person probably
I
playing
guess
for the team.
Yeah, we can't really encourage that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't.
We should not.
Like,
Certainly
you
not.
you shouldn't. I'll encourage, but
You'll allow it?
Yeah, we can have disagreeing points on that one for sure. Kind of moving forward, do you have like or is there like a 5-year kind of vision? Like, is there any big picture stuff? Because we've talked a bit about short-term stuff and like community stuff, but is there any like big picture stuff you guys looking at?
With work, yeah. Like I think so. Last year was our biggest. Like we introduced soccer, in the Sudbury
huge.
Cyclones, and the attendance, like I thought, and maybe that was me being biased. Like I'm not big into soccer. I've never really watched it at all.
Yeah.
But our attendance, like we sold out James Jerome. We sold out almost Cambrian.
Yeah.
Like. We were highest in the league for attendance. It was like
It's insane.
the demand for soccer was exponential to what I was anticipating.
Yeah.
Like 800 to 1,000 people. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
And it was super nice because we're used to a certain demographic that comes to the Wolves games, and it was like the way that Sudbury's grown and diversified. It like was everyone that I wasn't even, like, I didn't even know that Sudbury had, like, a Vietnamese association, and there's a
interesting.
Filipino basketball league.
What?
Like,
No.
it's literally, and it's just all Filipinos, and there was, anyways, it's just, like, it's crazy, and so, like, to bring in this new sport, that brings in, like, all those different communities and cultures that are, like, now live in Sudbury. It was just, like, it was amazing.
Whoa.
So I'm hoping, like, 5 years from now, we have a solid, facility to play soccer in.
That'd be that's good.
Like, we have James Jerome, which is beautiful. But I'd like to see something, like, a little bit more bigger, and that we can,
That'd be sick.
like,
Yeah.
treat it like
indoors.
a real, like a TFC type of
Be sick.
arena.
Yeah.
Not that big, obviously, but,
Lansdowne
like,
place or something.
yeah, something where we could bring
Sick.
everyone together to again just like have a good time at something else to do in Sudbury, but a little bit more. Like we need a jumbotron or some sort of screen.
Oh yeah.
For the
Yeah.
soccer game. So one day I'm hoping we get there.
Oh no, there isn't one. That's the scoreboard, eh?
Yeah.
I always thought there was like a big enough at like the size of this table, like LED screen in the middle of it, but no.
I wish it's just the scoreboard and the time.
There's one right above it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
That'd be
that-
quite the
that'd be wild.
investment. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, but I think that would be ideal. And then for the Sudbury Wolves, hopefully, and Sudbury 5, like, there's all that talk about a new arena.
Yes.
So to play in a new arena would just be
That'd be bonkers. That'd
amazing.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Like my current office right now is in like deep in the bowels of the Sudbury Arena.
Gross. Yeah.
Like underneath the bleachers type of thing. I've made it cute and cozy. Little fireplace, coffee machine.
You have a fireplace in
your electric. It's electric.
Okay. I was like,
A TV. I made it nice and cozy and warm.
Amazing. Yeah,
but I saw a mouse run by the other day. I'm not gonna lie. I vacuum. I throw my garbage out every day. But like,
just get a cat.
Yeah.
That's what I tell like
a little office cat.
Yeah, 100%. Like even if it's like just maybe not even for like the cute and cuddly aspect, for like for a purpose.
For serious mouse control.
Yeah, I'll go into like units of mine and I'll be like, and with the pest control guy, and they're like, hey, what do you do? We've and they're like, we box everything up, and I'm like, you don't, but, and then I'm like, they're like, Glenn, what do we do? We're at our like wit's end with this, and I'm like, get a cat.
Just
like
get a cat.
Yeah, get a cat, but like be smart about the cat, right? They're like, oh, I like cute kittens. I'm like,
you need a hunter. You need a cat with a mission.
Yeah, that's what you gotta get. Cat with a mission. My old business partner has like the best cat. Yeah, and it is that cat. And they're like mauled birds and anything. That's what you need.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's dangerous, but like it's cool. Yeah,
if you're ever yikes! I don't want that thing to attack me.
No, exactly. And then, do you have a favorite player or teammate you've ever had? Or most impactful, if you don't want to give
most impactful.
If you don't want to give like a favoritism thing.
My favorite player ever, famous, like Dwayne Wade for the Miami Heat. But like teammate, I've had quite a few. Like growing up, I was super close with Laura and Kristen, and like the three of us were always just like our own little trio of basketball junkies.
Nice.
So it was nice to always hang out and play around with them, and like in practice we were always like, there was always the three of us trying to race each other if we had to run back and down. So like we like to stay very competitive with each other. And then in university I had that same kind of friend or teammate, Emily. It was just our wedding in October.
Oh, nice.
So we're still super, super tight and super in touch with some of the LU girls.
Oh, sick.
But she was that competitive person where, like, we would show up before practice and do our shots, or if we didn't make all our shots, we'd stick around after practice or work out together. We literally did everything together.
Amazing, yeah.
So
oh, that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Do you have a, I'm trying to think about almost, it could be, actually, yes, I want to ask this earlier. When you were living with your sister in Toronto, did you have a, like, what was kind of the worst experience about that, or worst part about it, and then the best part about it?
Let me tell you the worst part. Well, the best part was just living with my sister. Like, her and I are connected at the hip. We have our typical sister fights where like she would come into my room and steal my clothes and I'm like, okay, what are you doing, man? Like, I need this. And vice versa. So like that type of stuff, or like putting the dishes away, like this classic like sister fights, like clean up after yourself, you slob. She could probably say the same about me too. But the best part was just being able to like experience living there with her. And just like doing like stupid stuff, like going to bars and partying, or then like our stupid stories in the morning. Like it was just like, it was nice to live with her outside of like the roof of our parents' house. You know what I mean? Like it was our own like independence and like just like, but still having like each other to kind of lean on.
Yeah, huge.
The worst part, I think we moved. When we moved, it was like a week after we moved or something, and like new little Sudbury girls to the city. We were walking to the grocery store like middle of the day, and we see unfortunately like this homeless woman, and she was just like screaming and flailing, like coming down the street. So I was like, oh god. But middle of the day, like the sidewalk was packed, and we're like, okay, like I'm just gonna walk around this bike rack, and then like she'll be past us and we'll go about our day. Like we're almost at the grocery store at this point. I'm like looking down to like walk by this bike rack. I look up and I just see this lady like smiling with a vest. Boom! She clocks me.
No!
Right
she
here.
Hit you?
She hit me in the face.
Oh my god.
I was like, this is like, I know. Like, nothing. I just see this lady. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look down, walk around this bike rack,
Oh my
and
God.
then, like, horrifying. Like,
That's terrible.
Carly thought I got stabbed because I gasped, and I was like, everyone stopped in their tracks. I'm holding my face. I was like, what do I do? And then she's like, we need to get face wipes. And so then I called my mom, and I was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
But I stayed. I made it.
Oh my goodness.
That was pretty bad.
Did she just punch you and then keep going?
Yeah,
like
she just
shit,
and then
eh?
she kept walking and
What?
screaming, and everyone was like staring at me, and I was like, what am I supposed to do in this situation?
Yeah.
But we just went
Couple
to the
things.
grocery store, and I
Yeah.
washed my face very thoroughly. Got groceries.
Just carried on like it ain't nothing to
like,
you.
what,
Eh?
what am I supposed to do?
This wasn't
So
the
now,
most
like, I always have like
traumatic event.
PTSD.
Yeah.
Like every time I walk downtown, I was like,
And you work downtown.
I work
You did-
downtown, so I did see some crazy stuff like
Yeah.
downtown Toronto and like the subway and stuff, and I was always like red alert, but I was like,
Oh my goodness.
like no sudden movements, obviously.
That's crazy. And that's in like the 2021, 2022
Yeah,
type thing?
2021
Whoa.
or 2020, 2021, yeah.
Yeah, you're saying like around COVID, eh? Just after.
Yeah.
Man.
So that was
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
freaky.
of fun.
That's like the best time for that to happen too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, what is life right now?
Oh,
Um,
I can't.
yeah, I was very, very humbled that day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's typically the reaction I get.
I just
Like,
the
how-
way
like-
you were telling that story made me think. I'm like, oh, she's just gonna like
Walk by,
like you're gonna
do her
walk.
thing.
Yeah, and
No.
you're like, no, she
Boom.
struck me.
Yeah, and I was looking like I was caught off guard. I was looking down, like trying to like walk by this
Avoid every
like
bit
this
of her.
bike
Yeah.
and get away from her, and then just look up and I was like, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's. This is gonna suck, but like this is gonna sound mean, but like that's funny.
I know.
That's pretty funny. That's
I'm able
awesome.
to laugh about it now.
Now I probably wouldn't laugh then if I
Yeah.
saw it. I'd be like,
Yeah, it was.
that's incredible.
That was a decent turning point for me.
Yeah. Then you're like, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Enough's enough.
I was like, what the hell?
I'm
is
moving
this?
to downtown where I see this every day
Yeah,
to get reminded.
exactly.
Jeez.
So that was a week into moving.
Yeah, that's
that
stressful,
that
sure.
was definitely the biggest low point. Like I don't think there was any low points of living there. Rent sucked.
Yeah. What was rent? You
Me
don't
and
mind
my
asking, I'm curious.
sister split a 2-bedroom
Like downtown Toronto?
downtown. We were at college in Spadina.
Oh, okay.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
It was like right on the brink of Chinatown. Like I
Yeah.
had so much pho soup or pho
Oh,
soup.
amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
But our rent for our little postage stamp of an apartment was like $3,600 a month. So
Oy.
it was
Oof.
a pretty penny, but
For a postage stamp of an apartment.
for a
That's what you said.
postage stamp of an apartment.
Oy.
But
Yeah.
we made it work.
Yeah. Right
yeah,
on.
we survived to tell the tale.
Oh, that's awesome.
Made it out alive.
So, I originally, when kind of going through talking points for this show and this episode with you,
Mm-hmm.
one thing kind of came to mind, switching gears from like the laughing side of it. I have a friend of mine that has a dad with who's very successful, has a really good, really very well off gentleman, and he has, and my buddy is he find like it's awesome in ways, right? It has its pros, but I also know from what he's told me that like anytime he's on a job site and his dad's there, there's like a bit of like a butting heads, and that like
Oh,
anything
yeah,
even
yeah.
on his own house that he'll design, his dad will come in and be like, this is the doors you need to put, you need to change this, and he'll end up cutting like doors out. So
Okay.
different. But my question is that could because I know like a good friend of mine like this, and I know people like this as well. Maybe you can help.
Yeah.
How do you go about earning respect, knowing that a lot of success is attributed, or a lot of pathway or opportunities are attributed to who your father might be?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think like for a long time, I think
Yeah.
that really like ate at me. I wanted to, maybe that was the reason for me wanting to move out of the city, was just like I want to get away, like create like a name for myself, like do my own stuff without
Yeah.
like people thinking like, oh, it's because like her parents, like she works for her parents, like she just got this job because of her parents, like, so I think that might have been like a huge thing of why I wanted to just like pack up and leave and prove to myself and whoever's looking, even though I should never do anything for anyone else except for myself.
Yeah. It's tough though.
It is tough. That I'm capable of doing this, and I think the plan was always, or my vision anyways, was always to come back home and say like, hey, like I did this while I was gone, so I've earned my name, like I could do this here, like no one look at me the wrong way or whatever. That obviously didn't happen with COVID, and I kind of just hopped right back in to the work life with my both my mom and my dad. I think a big thing for me was like just like age, like at that point I was 25, 26 years old, so I was like I knew enough to be like, I'm gonna just put my nose down and do my work, like no one can like I don't really care what anyone else has to say to me or think about me. Like if I know I'm doing my job to the best of my ability or like whatever, then I know they don't have any thing to say about me. You know what I mean?
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, there's definitely still challenges where people like even coworkers, I would say, like I don't have issues like spitting ideas off my dad cuz like now I work full time with him, like with SWSC.
Yeah. When
I have a new idea or a plan or whatever, like I'll always ask him if I need input, like what he thinks. But he's very like he has his full faith in me, which is really like a really nice backbone to.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah, maybe that's the difference. Like he trusts me to do all this stuff on his own or on my own. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where it's like.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know.
I think that attributes to like you and what you've done in like the resume or like what you might have studied in like your learning path, and then also attributes to like the way, like he would have brought you up as well. So I think those playing a part. Whereas I think the situation I'm talking about with my friend, I think is kind of like, dad wasn't quite involved, and then like
all of a sudden,
all of a sudden, and then it's like and also, I think you're a bit older than he is, or same age, but like the whole men and women maturing. We can get into that.
No, I wouldn't blame it on that, but I think like if there's anything I could say to him would be like for like me at the beginning too, like just put your head down, work. Like, if there's anything my dad, like, because we I'm not saying that our working relationship is perfect and we get along on everything, but like, if there's something that like he thinks like, well, I'll be like, okay, well, I want to have a conversation about it. Don't like tell me what to do because you don't live in the role that I'm currently in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've also got that backbone. Like, I've developed that backbone for myself over the years or whatever, confidence in myself that I'm like, wait a sec. I'll listen to you. Tell me why you think this should change. Versus like, so we'll have a conversation about it so I could understand because maybe he's right. If he has an idea and I'm like, okay, well tell me how or why or why you think that this is a better option, and then I could either get the light and be like, oh, that makes total sense, or I'll be like, well, wait a sec, you don't know that XYZ is also a big factor into this, and that would just put ABC farther back or whatever. The conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, kind of?
Yeah, it does. It does for sure.
We just, like, me and my dad, we're, like, I'm so thankful, like, we have that open dialogue where, like, I can challenge him or he can challenge me, and then we kind of, like, work together on the best possible outcome.
Which ultimately, I guess ultimately leads to success, Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's a really good way of putting it. It's a really good answer. I like that.
Good.
I like that. I know there's like it doesn't seem like there's any room for, like, there's no dismissal on either part, right? Whereas I think that's like,
that's the thing where he just like hops in and he's like, no, we're doing it this way.
Yeah, and there's no room for budging. It's like, it's kind of my thing. Or it's like, I know a buddy will do things like just to spite him on, like, he'll just like make changes to spite. So like there's a bit of like, a bit more like animosity between it. So I think what you're saying is like the open-mindedness and like the ability to have those like constructive discussions are like, huge.
Yeah, huge. Like communication is honestly like key in work, in life, in relationships with friends, family, partners. You know what I mean? So I think like
huge.
The biggest thing would just to be like have that conversation, so maybe he understands why. But also, like, have the faith in yourself that, like, if you don't believe in something, like, say, wait a sec.
Yeah, stand on it.
Like, or, like, why are you interjecting, or whatever that word is. I can't spit it out properly.
Interjecting?
Why are you interfering with my work?
We weren't even close.
No.
We can edit that.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yes.
Well, bloop, blooper.
Yeah.
But like I would, because I've done that with my parents before. It's like, well, tell me why, or like, I've done all the work for this.
Yeah.
So why are you coming in now at almost the final product and taking over? Doesn't make sense.
No.
Or explain to me why it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I truly believe something, like, you need to convince me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or, like, find some sort of compromise.
Yeah. Like, how can we make this, like, adaptable to what we're both kind of looking for, right? I like that. That's good. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have almost to conclude, nice. Almost to conclude, do you have, like, any overall message, thing you wanted to bring up, or like lesson or story or thing you want to kind of conclude with to wrap up everything we talked about?
God, I don't know. I feel like that's the question you asked me, and I'm just like, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. God is good. Everything happens for a reason.
I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. That's my biggest thing. Everything happens for a reason. So, like me being back in Sudbury, even though originally I didn't want to be, or I wanted to be elsewhere, like, I think you're supposed to be where you are at whatever time, and whatever happens to you is either, like, good or bad or tough is always a key lesson, and take it with a grain of salt.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Right on. Where can people learn about the teams, learn about you, connect with you, all that stuff? Websites, handles, all that stuff. Roll out the red carpet for you.
Roll out the red carpet. Thank you. Andrea Zulich is my personal, and then Sudbury Wolves, OHL, I think the Sudbury 5, Sudbury Cyclones, and Sudbury Spartans is all of our sports teams. Go Wolves, go. We got a game next Friday, January 24th.
Let's go. I love it.
Or this Friday.
Right on. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Andrea. I like meeting you, chatting with you, and I look forward to connecting more.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you doing the show.
Thanks for everything.
Right on. That's
Sweet.
that's it.